join us for another episode of MANCODE, where real men have real conversations about leadership, relationship, morality, and dominion. Welcome to MANCODE.
Well, hello, viewing audience. My name is Jonathan Russell, and I'd like to welcome you back to Man Code Season 3. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves, but this is a real exciting time for us. We've been doing this now 3 times out. You could almost call this Man Code Book 3. But we're just going to stick with Man Code Season 3. But before I get too far into it, I'm going to let my brothers go around and get themselves introduced. Y'all go right ahead.
All right, I'm Malcolm Crawford. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to Season 3. Buckle up. You're in for a good ride today.
How's it going, everybody? This is Austin McMurray. Welcome back. Season 3 of Man Code. Excited to be a part, excited to learn, and get more wisdom from these fine gentlemen.
Hello tonight. My name is Gary Fant, and I'm part of this great team, and I'm very excited about number 3. So hopefully we can give an impact.
Yeah, Danielle Lewis, Season 3. Excited to be back among the team. Just buckle up. As they said before, we plan to give you some stuff that you can use and transform your life.
That's it. Thank y'all. You know, at Man Code, we always hit on leadership, relationship, morality, and dominion. So if you haven't gone back and seen any of our prior episodes, prior seasons, I want you to go back. Definitely check those out. They're all available on YouTube. We have 2 seasons up. And even as a kind of a tie-in to what we left off last season, we're going to kind of roll back in with that a little bit today. Today, we're talking again about affairs, but we're purposing this more toward really coming out of the affair. Not so much what'll lead you into it, but really how to come about that. We want to provide brothers with some help, just to kind of give you some insight, and mainly just to keep people out of trouble. Keep you on the right path and keep your path right with God, your family, and the world in general. So I can't put any better than that. But just kind of leading off, our last conversation, we discussed the truth of having affairs and the dangers of a wandering mind. Now, this may seem simple to some people, but we want to dig in deeper. We want to kind of look at, things that may be off in others' lives. And I even want to be candid, even some things that may have been off in my life. We can even tap into that too. But first off, I want to look at this simple thing. The cheat is simply being unfaithful in a committed relationship. Now, there's been a discussion, a verbal bond, and an act of commitment to remain exclusive to that person. To violate these terms is cheating. So I just kind of wanted to kind of lead off into what cheating is. You've established something. Y'all are in a committed relationship. You're either working toward marriage, working toward that connection, or even married. You go about and do your own thing unknowingly to the other person. Let's establish that first off. So let me ask everybody this, and anybody can go at this, chop it up however we want. If I have clear boundaries established with my mate, and we're married, engaged, or whatnot, why shouldn't I continue to window shop? What's wrong with that? It's kind of just a lead in, but I'm just checking out everything, going on around me. What's wrong with that? First off.
So I guess I would just jump in and say, you said you've already defined boundaries. Are you saying you define, so it depends on what you define. Have you defined that it's okay for me to still look and date other people, or have you defined that your relationship is exclusive? Because if you haven't defined the scope of commitment in the relationship, then who knows? I mean, you're basically putting yourself in a position where, you are either going to hurt your relationship or that you're trying to build.
What if it's exclusive?
Then from my perspective, then your eyes should be for own. I mean, this real talk. I mean, to every man is human. So it's not the fact that you're not going to see a woman that is attractive. I mean, there are attractive women all over the world. But if my intention is pursuit, then I think that's where, and I'm not talking about you sitting out there, kicking it with your boys and like, oh, look at her, look at her, look at her, kind of situation. What I am saying though is that you're not dead. as a man, you know, you're going to see somebody who's attractive. I mean, that's just a reality. But if my intention is for me to step out on my lady because I'm intentionally looking for someone else other than the person I'm with, then I say that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go from the premise of that, like we said, it's exclusive. With that being the case, and like you said, you set the boundaries that, you know, we're not going to cheat on each other, we're not going to step out and so forth. So therefore, we've already said, hey, look, we're not going to step out, and that's determined. So I would say I don't see the purpose of window shopping. Basically, why window shop? Because once you window shop, that can lead to some other things. You know, it can open some doors. You may not be able to handle that. You might have a bad day, bad night with your wife or something. Something can be said, something can be done. And, you know, there's too much that could happen. You know, I'm not trying to get too deep, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, like I say, we're human. We're going to see some things, but like Danielle says, you got to know the intent of something. You know, personally, uh, it's like, you know, if you go into the store, you see a nice Louis Vuitton bag or something, you might say, man, that bag is tight. I like the leather. I like the seams on it. I like the stitching. And so if you're window shopping, you see a woman that, wow, I like the hips. I like the curves and all that, you know. So, and that could lead to some other things, you know. So men, I would just say, if you're exclusive, be true to that woman because it's hard enough pleasing a woman. So, you know, don't add any more, you know, any extras to it.
Yeah, and I think it's I think window shopping is also dangerous because what comes with it is the fact that you have to put time and invest energy into like pursuing another person. And that's less emotion, you know, less feeling, less time you have available for your spouse or girlfriend, whatever, that you've already committed to being exclusive with. So that's another dangerous factor within itself. And we live in a world where people don't respect relationships at all. So you think you may be able to get away with something and can hide it. And it's like, nope, you know, she got the receipts, she got the screenshots, she ready to post it, ready to tell everybody, you know, what you've been doing. Because the reality is, man, like people don't have much to lose anymore. And whatever they can do we live in an exposed culture. And so whatever they can do to expose a person, they will definitely do that. So
I would like to concur also with the last two comments that I heard. I don't think it's for what purpose. If you're already content with what you have, why go elsewhere? You know, it also just sets up a stage or a behavior, I feel, for later on in the relationship or the marriage as it grows, for those incidentals to come up. And if it's all right now, the mindset will say, okay, it's all right for later. So you may carry that same inappropriate behavior into the marriage, which will destroy and break down the marriage, you know, and that's also harmful. And then you got to also think about this. Where is that ideology coming from? We pretty much know who's the author of that type of wisdom, if you will, where that's coming from. So definitely check both antennas to make sure you're getting the right feed.
And if I could add to that, Jonathan, I'd like to say this too. Now, while you out there window shopping, don't think she can't go shopping too. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you about something, you know, I know a little bit about women. One thing about a woman, she probably can get away with stuff a lot quicker, a lot easier than you can. You know what I'm saying? As far as, yeah, so you need to be careful about that. While you window shopping, she might say, hey, you never know. So yeah, I wouldn't even want that to be a part of our agreement.
and as men, our pride can't take that kind of hit. So
Right. That's what I said, y'all. Really, y'all put that good. But I was told my brother this. You know, the first look is on God because He made him. Second look is on you. So just think about that. You gotta realize why you're looking and what you're looking for. So hey, but let me ask you this. Let's say we still in this committed relationship. You know, married, committed. Okay, bam, I do. But I have a friend of the opposite sex. Now, that's no harm in that, is it? But my mate doesn't know they exist. What's my end game with that?
either introduce to your spouse or cut it off. You know,
No, but what's my end game? What am I? What does it seem like I'm getting at if I'm keeping a secret friend on the side? You know,
contingency plan.
To me,
Most
you're just
assuredly.
playing the game with the whole relationship. You're really not serious about it. You haven't matured. You're still in that lane of being out there. So stay out there and leave her alone. Allow her to find someone that's going to be dependable and reliant. You know, don't muddy the water for her. If you're not ready, let it go. Because we know if we're keeping secrets, it's for a reason. You know, it's not a blind side. It's matter of fact, it's already orchestrated on how you're going to work it, because you've already in your mind already went through those versions. What if this happens? This can happen. And then if this doesn't happen, this can happen. So you've already quantified it by some of those thoughts you had, that some of the thoughts you've created in your head. You've already worked through it. So you're really already guilty, because you've probably already had the act in your mind. So therefore you're guilty of the behavior.
Yeah.
Let me
Well said. Well said. Man, this is crazy, because you know from the gate that if you got a secret from your spouse, wife, whoever, that's not a good thing, man. We just got to be honest and real. You know, you keeping secrets already. What's done in the dark will come to the light. You know what I'm saying? So eventually you got to cover yourself up. And you, like I say, you know, anything could happen with this secret friend. She could get mad at you, and all of a sudden now she want to put you out there and so forth. But at the end of the day, if you really, you know, let's say, for example, you haven't told your wife, but if you do discuss it with your wife and say, hey, look, I got this friend, blah, blah, blah. And if she's okay with it, maybe it's a childhood friend that you grew up with or something, and she's okay with it, but you just gotta, you know, you can't be calling and all that, hey, but sometimes, you know, I think it might be wise just to break it off and say, hey, look, we gotta stop all that now, just shut it down and just go from there.
You're getting ready to say something, Austin?
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to clarify something. So before I said either like introduce her to your spouse or cut it off, I was thinking from the standpoint of like a strictly platonic friendship, because like I'll be 100% honest. I do have friends of the opposite sex that like I went to high school with or I went to college with, but my wife knows them, right? So say one of them lives in California, my wife could call her and say, hey, I'm in California, let's hang out. Like they have a relationship as well. It's not, you know, me and that person. Just like my wife has male friends from college, from like her early college years, I'm their friend as well. We talk, we hang out, we're all in group chats together, aside from my wife. So we like that boundary is established. But if it's something where like that boundary gets crossed, and now that person only wants to know your spouse, but maintain that relationship with you only, then you got to cut that off.
Well,
Yeah, I would just
go ahead, Daniel.
No, I was say I just echo what Austin was saying. I mean, because I have the same thing. I think the friendships that you need to cut off is that if you were in a relationship with somebody and the relationship ended on good terms, but that person still remained friends with you, I would say those friendships you need to cut, because there was already romantic involvement and interest and attraction already there. And, you know, the quote unquote fair weather friends, you know, when time situations and hard times come in, those will be where your mind drifts to. So I would say to those types of friends to cut those off. But, you know, to Austin's point, you know, I have several college friends my wife knows about. She talks to them on the phone. I talk to them. There's no secrets there between those relationships. But the ones where you know that there was already romantic involvement, or you know that there was you may have been friends, but you know that if time and situation had been different, you know, you would have been up on her, you know, then, you know, that shouldn't be a friendship that you should be trying to carry over. You know the intent of your own heart. Forget about God knowing your intent. You know the intent of your heart. and you know better.
And I like what Danielle said, because like I said, I think you know, you guys get some great points, but for me, and I'm just speaking for me, it's a personal thing with me, because I know, well, the new me is different now, but the old me, I couldn't have no female friends outside, because if you my friend, it wouldn't go, you know, I ain't gonna be even talking to you unless, you know, hey, you know, so if you was a female, first of all, you was gonna be looking good. And secondly, you know, I wasn't trying to just say, you know, hey, Sally, man, how are you today? You know, no, I didn't have time for that, you know. So, but nowadays, in today's world, I still don't have female friends like that. But you know, every now and then, you know, we got classmates that you went to school with. We have class reunions. I would talk to them like, you know, we have business and so forth. And sometimes, you know, it might call me and say, Pastor Crawford, can you pray for me? Yeah, that type of thing. But I'm just not going to have a female friend that, you know, we good friends with. That didn't work well for me, and I'm not going to have my wife doing that either. You know, like nip that in the bud, babe. You know, new sheriff in town. You know what I'm saying? No, because you know, you got to cut that.
You know, I think a lot of men need a sheriff in their life. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah.
But on the real, you know, y'all hit it on the head. Leave it in the open. No secrets. No hidden attachments. Nothing like that. You want to walk into a relationship clean. You don't want to walk into a relationship dragging things in that you know are going to be destructive later. So any old friends that you had that your spouse doesn't know about, male or female, you know, talking to the women too, put that in the open. If you can't put it in the open, then there's something wrong with that relationship, and that needs to be gone right then and there. That's all I can say on that.
Let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question, this scenario. Let's say, for example, you got these female friends, your wife got these male friends, and let's say, for example, you and your wife have a big blowout. She ain't talking to you for a day or two. Then this cat called and she talking to him. What kind of sense that make? That's going to create a problem.
You know, that's a dagger, and that's almost a dagger in the heart.
Yeah.
But he's just my
like,
friend.
even though we having problems,
but he's just my friend. Why can't I talk to him? You know what I'm saying?
And I think
I get it. I've actually been in that situation in the past. So again, it's one of them things that ain't cool. Handle your issues out with me, then talk to old boy. You know, don't put our business out there on Front Street. Don't give that advice and bring that back into our mix. That's improper. Now I will state to that.
And I would say, like, I think that's like important, like early in the dating process, when you find out she does have these male friends, find out the extent of that friendship. Like, what is it like? Like, oh, he's like a brother. I don't know if I'll trust that one. Don't know if I'll trust that one, because that means that boundaries could get crossed, and he could potentially have a level of entitlement to your wife that he should not have at all. So it's like early in the dating process, if it's just like, yo, it's my boy, Jonathan, like we graduated the same major together, you know, same friend group. And me and Jonathan hit it off and we cool. And I can tell through our interactions that he respects me and my relationship. I'm good with it. But the moment I sense something that's not right and you disrespect the boundary that, you know, me and my mate have, and it's like, sorry, babe, but you gotta cut that tie, because that person's their heart isn't right.
Yeah, you also got to understand, just piggybacking off what Austin says, that some of these dudes that are friends got put in the friend zone. Their intention was their intention was to get up on it, but you know, in them trying to make that connection, they ended up in the friend zone, and so they just hanging around because that's the closest of a relationship they can have with that person, waiting for that opportunity for that brother to slip up, you know. So
like that bag of socks where you don't have all the mates too, and you can't find that one mate, you got to go to that sock bag.
Hey, if they both black, it's better than.
Hey, you know what Biz Markie said, right? Biz Markie.
Oh,
what's that?
Just a friend.
Say just a friend, yeah.
Okay.
Get it all day.
Yeah,
Get it all day.
Okay. He says he's just a friend, right. But I'm shutting all that down. I'm calling and giving me, hey player, what's going on, man? I'm gonna talk to you, have conversations, and you know, we just gonna get it all cleared out, you know.
That's the best way. Keep it in the open. Well, go ahead, Brother Font.
No, I was just wondering. So, are you going to say this before things, Malcolm? What you were saying, is this before things get ugly, or when something arrives?
This is from the gate.
Oh.
This from the gate. I'm getting all phone numbers. Okay, you know, hey man, you know, yeah, that was then. This is now. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is BC. You know what I'm saying? Before Crawford. You know, AC. I'm just shutting it down, man. You know,
man, I'm done with you,
man.
The less in the hen house, the less problems we have. More money, more problems. More friends, more problems.
Hey, we got to throw him on mute tonight. He on 10 right now. give
But
him a
let me ask y'all
5-minute
this.
timeout.
Let me throw this at y'all. What doesn't the one who cheats ever think about them? I
What's
know
the
you're
question?
gonna come with something different, but what doesn't the one who cheats thinks about? What don't they think ahead about? Because they're going through the process and emotion.
I would say consequences in one word, the consequences of behavior.
You say the one that cheats, what is he thinking about?
What don't they ever think about?
Oh,
Probably
it
getting
depends.
caught.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Getting caught, the different emotional states that they could potentially be in the future, unforeseen conflicts within that relationship.
Yeah.
Or maybe they think they the stuff, and
Exactly.
they think that they can get out of the situation even if they did get caught. It depends. I think it depends on the arrogance of the man
See, if
Or
you
the
didn't see
woman.
me there, if
or
you
the
didn't see
woman.
me there, I
Yeah,
wasn't there. If you didn't see me there, I wasn't
yeah.
there.
It wasn't me.
Way out of it.
Girlfriend, you're giving up too much hints. You're giving up too much info.
Hey, check the song out by Tyrone Davis. It sure wasn't me.
I was gonna say Shaggy.
Tyrone Davis.
I'm gonna say you don't ever think about the other person.
Oh,
Y'all asses, none of y'all what y'all said is wrong. All y'all very, you selfish. You don't think you're arrogant.
Mhm.
You're big headed. You think because you got women in the palm of your hand. You think that's gonna make it all right there. What you're not thinking about is, okay, if I get caught, then what? I know I got a crazy one at home that might burn me with some grief, but I'm not thinking about that. But it's and y'all hit it, consequences. And that person's feelings. Do you respect them enough not to cheat on them? That's a good question to ask yourself right there. Because if you're with somebody and you don't respect them enough to not cheat on them, I'm gonna be honest, you should just do them a favor and just break it off. Go bring them some papers. You should be that big of a person, man or woman. And that's it. Because the consequence is the major factor down the road.
Yeah.
But let me go here. So the affair has been uncovered, and now it's time to face your mate. And sorry's not gonna cut it. You might have been sorry before, but you're done with that. Now, what should step one be to repairing the mess? Stomach all knotted up, you in for some crap, but it's all your fault. What do I do now?
Are you saying after saying I'm sorry, or after
No, this
the
is when you
apology?
facing it. This is when you facing it down for the first time.
Okay. You said what's the first thing you should do?
Yes.
Honestly, I mean, it's as dirty and as comfortable as it is. I mean, if you're really serious about it, I mean, you just really just come forward, with it. Most times though, men that do that, either they have hit some major crisis where they know that they can't hide it anymore, like a pregnancy or a STD, or they know the person that they're with is getting ready to come forth with the information and they want to beat the person to the punch. Usually it's something traumatic, because it takes something like that sometimes to jolt a man out of that situation, to have them confront it. And so if you're put in that situation, I would just say, just be truthful with it. I mean, it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, that loss is it's probable. What I'm saying? It just depends on your spouse. It depends on where your spouse is with what you're bringing forth to them. Who knows? They could, depending on the situation in your relationship, if things have been going left for a while, because we haven't even talked about what brings you to an act of an affair or infidelity in a relationship. So maybe the relationship has been tumultuous and both halves may have been dipping out, and you thinking it's just you, and y'all both have been, scheduling appointments. So you never know until you actually bring it forth. So I'm just going to say that the only thing you can do is, if you just trying to be real and upfront, it's just bringing it forth. the best way you possibly can. It's not going to ever sound great because it's infidelity. So
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I would look at it a couple of different ways. First of all, I'm going to take two approaches to it. First of all, if you want the relationship to last, this is the way I'll go. But if you don't, the easy way is, hey, but if you really want to last and you love the person, you want to stay with them, I look at it as like a 3-stage process. Could be more steps than that. But the first step is, like Daniel said, hey, you got to confess. Secondly, repent. And if that don't work, third step, beg.